people, welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a bit more interesting, a bit more of an analogy of life depicted from this game I used to play called RuneScape. Now, for those of you who know about the game, brilliant, enjoy, you're probably going to relate to a lot of this stuff. And for those of you who haven't played the game, do not worry, because I'm sure you played a game of some sort, you know, a story mode game, you know, on any console where you are the main character, and part of the process is you have to level up and you have to do these quests and you have to get these achievements and you make money and blah, 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 blah. It's one of those sort of games, right? When you're younger, it is the best form of escapism and it takes so much of your time. It really does. As you get older, if you try to play this game now, you know, like I did when the mobile version came out, it's an amazing nostalgia thirst trap, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, especially because it's on your mobile now as well. Like, you don't have to do the old setup keyboard and mouse and clicking. That was the most annoying thing about the game. You have to click everywhere you want to go. You want to go up the road, you can't just use the arrow keys. No, you have to click, 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 click. So it's, if you're sat in silence here and you're watching someone play the game, you're just going to be hearing click, 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 click. So yeah, that was probably the most jarring thing about the game. But yeah, like I said, if you haven't played it before, you will definitely be able to relate and take some value from it, because it's an analogy at the end of the day, right? I'm comparing an experience from a video game that's not real into something that is real. And you know, you could do the same for many things in life, but this is the one I've chosen to go for. I started playing this game in, I think, 2006. I would have been in year 6 at the time. Came across it on Miniclip, and then later on was encouraged to keep on playing by some of my good friends at the time, and I'll share a few stories about them as well, which will be quite interesting. But that being said, you know, it was a free game initially, and then you can get membership afterwards once you get hooked in, like we all did at some point. And yeah, man, I was roaming the streets of Gilnor, minding my own business, you know, playing on my friends. You know, them times there's no mic or anything like that. It's just typing away, so you're just typing your thoughts away to your friends, you know, talking about life, you know, training your skills, your strength, your wood cutting skills, your fishing, trying to make a bit of money so you can buy that rune simmy and that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, trying to get the full rune armor. If you know, you know. But with time, I come to think about it, this game was more than just a game. Yeah, this game is actually a mirror of life. Like, it goes back to that saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. Now think about that. How you do anything, yeah, is how you do everything. Now this saying goes down to like your attitude, yeah, towards life and how you handle situations, be it mundane or be it extravagant, yeah. You know, a simple task like how you handle your homework, your attitude towards your homework. Yeah, are you just trying to copy from next man? Are you trying to, you know, get the bare minimum done so that, oh miss, I've done something but I didn't finish it? Or are you trying to go the whole way and like, no, this is my homework, you know, I'm gonna make sure that I can get it done to the best way that I can do it, and hopefully get some positive feedback so that I can then apply that into my life and then use it in the months to come when it comes to like the exams or whatever it is, yeah? That's just a very basic level, but it can apply across everything. How you do anything, you know, how you diet, how you train in the gym, you know, how you are as a parent, as a husband, as a lover, as a brother, you know, in any way you look at it, it can pan out the same way. How you do anything is how you do everything. Your attitude to life shapes a lot of things. Real view, yeah? This game made me realize that I'm actually a drifter, you know? Like, when I used to play this game, I would do, you know, fishing for like a couple hours or a couple days and then get bored of it, you know, abandon my dreams of getting a 99 fishing skill cape and doing another skill afterwards, and then getting bored of that, and then trying to make a bit of money, and then spending it all on something petty, like just some fashion scape is what you used to call it, yeah? Like a pirate's hat, serving no purpose really, bringing no value to society, yeah? No value to the Gilnor society. Anyway, and like, you know, starting a quest, not finishing it through, or, you know, getting my skill to a certain point, but not having the requirements to activate this next state. Brother, it's so much stuff I can like put my hands up and be truthful, yeah? I realized I was a drifter. That's in the game. And then outside the game, I realized, hang on a minute, I actually do the same thing as well, you know? I start the gym, and then I get bored of it after 2 months of doing the same routine. You know, I start a diet for like a week or two, I get really consistent with it, and then, you know, the cheat day just sets me back months, bro. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because I'll go ham on that cheat day. And then, like, you know, whatever way you can look at it or think of it. But those are the two main things, like my diet and gym, you know, even my degree. Like, you know, I first undertook a history and politics degree, and I dropped out of that after 2 months. And it's my attitude towards life. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what I'm trying to say to you. I realized, bro, I'm a drifter. And I realized that the correlation between, you know, the game I used to play and how I used to have, and how I used to approach this sort of game was fairly similar to how I used to approach life. So I put my hands up and admit that. Another analogy that I picked up on as well was, obviously I had friends playing this game as well around that time. It was the hype, as you could say. And what I realized was their personalities in real life and in the game were sort of interchangeable. So I had a friend that was always like trying to make money in the game, yeah, always chasing the bag. And, you know, he'd be in the back streets of Varrock, you know what I mean, trying to busk, trying to make $1, yeah? Or he'll be in the Grand Exchange trying to do some flips, like buying I don't know, a candlestick for 10 GP and trying to sell it later on for like 15 GP, taking a profit margin. You get the idea. Like the stock market pretty much, innit? Buying low, selling high. And funny enough, this guy now works in finance. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, ironically, yeah, how his mindset was just wired that way. Like when he's playing the game, he's trying to make money, yeah? He's trying to buy those items. He's trying to make a quick buck, yeah? He's not really trying to manually graft, like cutting wood and selling it, and like cutting, you know, mining for ore, right? And mining for coal and stuff like that, which are things you can do in the game to make money. He's like, nah, I'm just trying to get a bit of money and flip it. You know what I mean? How can I do the least amount of effort? That's what he was doing. So, ironically, he works in finance now. I had another friend as well who was, you know, he was an Iron Man before they made Iron Man. So, you know, pre-Grand Exchange, I'm talking early days when things were a lot more tougher in the game. You know, he didn't want to ask for help. Like, he didn't really want to be a part of the group. Like, if he was doing something, he would say, safe, I'm going to go do this thing because I got to do X, Y, Z. And we're like, all right, cool, let's do it together. And he'll be like, no. And funny enough, in real life, he's this sort of person as well. He just wants to be left to his own accord, and, you know what I mean, like, doesn't really want to ask for help. Even though you know he might need it, he'd rather do it himself. And I had another friend as well who, you know, I can't lie, he used to enjoy scamming people, yeah? So he'd like set up phishing websites and like keylogging and stuff like that, so that he can then take people's accounts that they spent years on, man, years of their lives, hours and months wasted, just so that he can take their account, maybe sell it off, you know, maybe use that account because it's at a higher level to generate money. Because that's what it is. When you play this game, you're trying to get your skills to a certain point. You're trying to do quests to a certain point to unlock more of the map, more of the gaming experience. And it gets easier to make money and easier to do things. And it's relatively more enjoyable the higher levels you are, right? Just how it is in real life, you know? The more money you have, the more enjoyable life can be. The more, you know, qualifications you have, the greater chances of, you know, success and attaining success you will have. So that was his thing, you know? He's always about trying to cut corners, move a bit illegitimate. And ironically, in real life, this was the type of guy that was, you know what I mean, number one when it came to like CC fraud and stuff like that, yeah? Do you know what I mean? Dietzen, as they used to call it back in the day. So it's like, it's a mirror. How you do anything is how you do everything. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So that's an interesting point as well. We get to the crux of the video. I'm going to give you guys 7 lessons that I learned from playing this game. Yeah, and maybe you can even apply it to all games that you've played that are relatively similar to this game RuneScape. Okay, so that no World of Warcraft fans feel a bit left out, even though I never played that game, but I can imagine, you know what I mean, people might feel a bit left out. Oh, I didn't play RuneScape. No, doesn't matter. It's a game, and I'm comparing a game to real life. That's the moral of this video, all right? So, number one, the grind is real, okay? I'm going to say it takes about 2,000 man-hours to complete the game. That's days, weeks, months, or even years, do you get what I'm trying to say? To complete your skills and to get everything to 99 and all the quests done, and, you know, to unlock certain features of the game. So it's a, you know, it's a grind. It's a grind. And you can tailor that to real life as well, because, you know, in any aspect of life, you're trying to improve or grow or develop, you know, be it in your religion, trying to get closer to God, yeah, or your studies, you know, trying to improve on your knowledge, or your career aspirations, or family life, or being a parent, or whatever it may be. It's going to take a long time. So, you know, understand that the grind is real. There's no shortcuts in that regard to reach mastery. You need to go through it all and soak it all in. Do you know what I mean? 2, always finish what you start. Always finish what you start, especially if it's a new skill, or, you know, something that has got to do with your growth and development. Don't just give in. Don't give up. When the going gets tough, the tough get going, yeah? And you can apply that to RuneScape. Bro, when I was playing the game, you get me, I'll reach 67 fishing, 35 defense, you know what I mean? Like, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll get bored here and not follow through. And because of that, I can tell you hand-heartedly and very truthfully, and very sadly actually, that I never really maxed out my account, or I never really reached that level where I was proud of, wow, my achievements. I was always like starting and stopping, making a new account, you know, making a bit of money, but never anything substantial, never pushing myself or challenging myself. And that trickled down into my real life, as I said, you know. I never really used to go the whole mile. So, you know, that's the second life lesson that I learned from playing this game. Number 3, yeah? Your wealth, if it has no barakah in it, it's just GP, right? It's just going to be useless. Some gil nor pounds, yeah? We know as people of faith, as practicing believers, as Muslims, that how you earn your money is more important than how much you make. You know, halal money that has barakah, that has blood, sweat and tears, you know, put into it, right? That's been thought out, that you've persevered for, that you've, you know, woken up early in the morning and come home late at night at times, you know, things that you've actually had to graft for. That has barakah in it. It lasts longer. It's pure. You can feed your family with it. And haram money, money that comes in fast, be it selling drugs, or, you know, in the case of the game, scamming people, and, you know what I mean, trying to gamble as well, as you can do in real life and in the game, in the form of dueling in the duel arena and stuff like that. You know, there's no barakah in it. So there's no real value to that money. There's no substance to that money. And it will only lead you astray. Number 4, don't be afraid to ask for help, right? Don't be like that guy, like one of my friends that wants to do everything by himself, wants to be solo, you know, doesn't want to, you know, his pride is too indigenous, his ego is just so big that, oh, like, no, I want to do it myself. No, don't be like that. It's okay to ask for help. It's a form of wisdom to know that you're limited, that you don't have all the tools to undertake an activity, right? You know, you're going to need sometimes to, in the case of the game, you know, to get that fighter torso, carry out the mini games. You're going to need a team of 4 to work with and, you know, coordinate with them. You know, one guy does that, one guy does that, one guy does that, one guy does that, you know, so that you can eventually achieve enough points to get this item in the game, right, that you can use to carry on enjoying the game, right? Yeah, so the same goes in real life as well. Like, if you're stuck somewhere and you need help, whether it's how do I get married, and how do I, you know, save up for this, or how do I undertake this degree, or how do I get this job, or stuff like that, don't be afraid to ask, man. You know, not everyone is born knowing it all, right? You get me? I would say no one is born knowing it all, right? Unless you're an imam or a prophet, right? Then you have that knowledge. But so to speak, we're all students of life, so don't feel ashamed or embarrassed or less of a man if you have to ask another man or woman for help. 5, never be afraid to take risks. In the game, in RuneScape, when you're walking around, yeah, you've got certain zones where no one can really harm you, right? No player versus player action going on, right? And there aren't really any, you know, monsters and stuff like that that can really crawl up on you and do you damage, yeah? But there's also parts of the game known as the wilderness, right? This is where PvP can take place, right? And also in the wilderness, there are monsters that have, you know, drop rates that you can get items that are worth lots of gold and stuff like that you can then sell to then develop your skills and, you get me, develop your account and have a better gaming experience, or even use that item to have a better gaming experience ultimately, right? So don't be afraid to take risks, yeah? Real growth stems from leaving the comfort zone. A lot of people play the game just stuck doing skills and mundane things, yeah? But when you realize that if you go out into the wilderness, there's so much more to gain than just playing the same game and in the safe manner. And like I said, how you do anything is how you do everything. That is the theme of this video, okay? Never forget that, okay? Number 6, yeah? Now in the game, you've got something called an inventory. In your inventory, which is like your backpack in the game, you have 28 slots. And depending on the task you're carrying out, you know, if you're going into the wilderness or if you're trying to, you know, mine some coal or whatever it is, or iron, you know, you need to be smart. You need to know what tools you need to bring with you. You know, if you're going into the wilderness, you know, there might be people that are going to attack you, so you need to make sure you've got food. Have you got enough food? Have you got enough potions or whatever it is to help make your gaming experience more enjoyable and more, you know, sort of effective, so to speak. So the same thing goes in real life, you know. You also have a very limited capacity. You know, your brain can only store so much. You can only physically carry certain things with you. So when you're going about your daily life, you know, your time is precious, right? So don't just go out there carrying so much unnecessary baggage, right? And unnecessary items and unnecessary thoughts when you're trying to go about your life. Learn to let things go, things that hold you back, things that are like traumatic, things that, you know, require you to heal, undergo through them, right? Fix your mistakes, work on yourself, you know. Don't hang around with people that are just, you know, foul-mouthed or, you know, talk negatively about others and listen to gossip. That's all going to harm you. It's going to harm your soul and it's going to harm your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 7, this one's a nice one to end off at. In the game, obviously, you need to collect experience. So I think you need to get about 13.5 million experience to get to 99 in any skill. You know, but as you're playing the game gradually, you're gaining experience, like literally in a certain skill. Like, you know, if you are trying to get some wood logs to sell or fire make or whatever, you're going to be cutting things down, right? And you're going to be getting like some XP drops. You're going to be seeing them coming on your screen. But the thing is, only you can see that, right? No one else can see that. So nothing goes unnoticed. That's how you can apply it to real life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees all your actions. Yeah, He sees you going through the efforts. You know, the universe is aware that you are striving to become a better person. You're striving to grow. You're striving to learn. You're striving to, you know, progress. You're chipping away gradually at it. So never feel like whatever you're doing, how small it might be, how mundane and minuscule it might be, you know, don't ever undermine it. Don't think it's not valuable. Don't think it's not useful. Don't think it goes unnoticed. Yeah? The Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَيَحْسَبُ أَن لَمْ يَرَهُ أَحَدًا. Yeah? Does man think that no one is watching him? No, someone is watching him. And that person is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's watching you wherever you may go. So, that will conclude the video. I hope you found it useful. You know, this did involve a bit of research, a bit of thinking, a bit of planning. It was a bit different from the ones I usually make, where it's just me driving and vlogging. You know, this one, you know, did take a bit more effort. So I'd appreciate if you can please like it, you know, share it with your friends, share it with your fellow RuneScapers. And yeah, man, subscribe and all that good stuff. Hopefully there'll be more to come. And if you like this sort of stuff, let me know. I'm trying to get in the hang of editing a bit and stuff like that, just to make it a bit more engaging. So yeah, peace.